Hey St. Lucia, what's up? How are you doing today? Again, it's me, your host, Chayla Mendez. You are tuned into This Morning here on DBS. And I'm pleased to have with us, we have Kensley Charlemagne. And you must be familiar by now, he is with Pomdamo Creations. And today, we're going to be talking about an event that took place last week, which was really interesting. And I think another way in which we just show the fusion with the arts and our culture. And that was the Pomdamo Poetry Slam. But this time, this one was a Creole edition. Thank you so much again for being here with us.
Not a problem at all. Yes. And as you rightly said, it was the Creole edition. As opposed, I think the last time we were here, I spoke of the yearly Poetry Slam. So what we have moved on now in terms of format is that we are doing a monthly Poetry Slam. So it's once a month. That's actually the last Thursday of the month.
Oh, nice.
So we have, I actually call it the 611.
Really?
That is 6 poets, 1 night, 1 prize.
Okay.
Yes.
I was trying to decipher and break that down. All right.
Yes, so that's what it is. So we have the cooperation of Phone Bay, who's actually our sponsor for the event. So we invite at least 6 poets to the stage for that night, and anyone can register. Again, in terms of that aspect of our format, there is no age limitation either. Because previously you had to be 18 years and over to participate in the Poetry Slam, but it's open now, so persons who wish to be part of it can come and be part of
Great.
it.
And you know what? I think I kind of like that change because, you know, creativity really has no age limit. You can be as young as you can imagine, or,
That's right.
you know, as youthful, in
That's
quotes,
right.
as you can.
Yes.
Now, with this, because of course, last time you were here, as you mentioned, it was for something with more of a purpose. That was the 100,000 Poets for Change.
Yes.
Now, this time we brought it closer to home, and it was the Creole edition of the Poetry Slam.
Yes.
So, why choose to make it a Creole edition? Why was that something you thought significant enough?
But of course, it was happening during Creole Heritage Month, October, and so therefore, you know, I know that there are quite a few people who actually write Creole poetry, and there are some people who don't. You know, so I asked many participants to come on board, and when I made the requirement, you know, that you have to have at least, you know, 1 Creole piece, you know, people are backing out. All right, so this is really again in terms of encouraging our writers as well to be able to adopt that aspect of us, our culture, which is Creole. You know, that's so significant to us. And I'm a bit afraid as well, because when I speak to so many young persons, they tell you, I don't speak Creole, you know. It was never spoken. And I say, aren't you St. Lucian? And they say, yes, we are, but they never, my parents never spoke it in the house, so they were not, you know, basically exposed to it. And so therefore, I fear maybe that in a few years, the culture in terms of us speaking the language will die.
Now, of course, you are with Pomdamo Creations. We know you all for the Poetry Slam and, you know, other things in the arts. How important do you feel it is in terms of having that synergy with the arts and, again, pushing the culture? Like, just like your requirement, you had to have at least 1 poem. And it was really amazing because it was nice to hear some of the poets deliver that. And, you know, so I just want to pick your brain a bit. But, you know, how do you see that synergy with arts and, of course, helping the culture to have that longevity?
Well, the thing is, culture, and I've always had that debate with quite a few persons. Culture is what is, you understand? It's not what was. So a lot of us speak of culture in terms of tradition. We have to speak of culture of what is currently happening. And so in order to preserve the tradition and what was, then it means that whatever was the tradition now has to become part of what we do. So if we speak, for example, of the Creole that you just spoke of, for which, as I said, I fear may eventually become a tradition if we do not practice it. You know, so we have to be able to give exposure for that to be utilized. So there has to be a certain amount of utility to the practice. And that really is what culture does.
Well, St. Lucia, again, remember the name. It's Kensley. And again, remember Pomdamo Creations. Look out for the events coming up. And the next one you said is going to be?
Well, the next event will actually be the last Thursday of this month, November, and it will be held at Kibis. Actually, one of the things I'm actually been trying to contemplate is bringing all the champions back from the 7 years, so that we actually will have a champions of champions. If that does not happen, again, just because in terms of sponsorship, we are still going to have a regular program as well.
All right, perfect. So a platform to showcase your talent as well as develop it. So let me tell you, the Poetry Slam was really amazing. And again, Kenzie, I want to thank you so much for being here with us.
No problem.
But we're going to leave you to enjoy some of the highlights from the Poetry Slam Creole edition. And large shout out to our winner, Francesca Richardson. So congratulations, girls, 'cause you were awesome. St. Lucia, enjoy.
I rehearse and mimic nostalgically the very things we've done meticulously. Like an old tape, I play and rewind sweet, kissable memories left behind.
I still taste tears and hear my heart shatter. I have not found all the pieces that you scattered. My mind barely strong enough to stand firm against the persecuting stones, despite the misery of knowing you cast the first.
They said you were a pimp. Another Mike getting money on the backs of us woman. Then they said you were a jailbird. An ostrich head in the sand, nothing but waiting calls on your lips, a gun riding on your hips. The only wing that carries you. They contorted the way you beheld us, compelled us to believe that you were not pleased unless succulent parts were served hot on a pole.
St. Lucia, what's up? I hope you're feeling good. Of course, you're watching This Morning. I'm your host, Chayla Mendez, and you know I always like to keep you up to date with everything happening here on the island that you should be part of or experience. So today I have June Frederick here with us in a different capacity. This time it's all about the Kiddie Crew Theatre Company, and they're putting on their second annual Roderick Walcott play. So she's going to give us the rundown on what's happening today.
Well, it's a very exciting time for us because last year we first did The Legend of Tom Fool, which we had wild rave reviews about it, and the children got just as excited. We have another group of kids, only 5 from the first group, and we've been working for about almost 3 months on this production, which is Papa Jab, The Devil at Christmas. And one of the reasons why I did it and I put it on at this time of year is because the traditional masquerade is so much part of our Christmas season. I thought it would have been a wonderful opening to the Christmas season. So today at the National Cultural Center, starting at 8 o'clock, we have our first showing, our opening night of Papa Jab, The Devil at Christmas, followed on Friday, tomorrow, with a showing at 1:30 p.m. for students of theatre arts and possibly literature. And in the evening at 8 o'clock, we have our final showing of Papa Jab, The Devil at Christmas. So it's a real exciting time. It's been very hectic. Right now I'm sleepwalking, but it's really a good feeling.
Great. Now just give us a little, brief overview, just generally what the play is about.
Papa Jab is basically about the main Christmas character in our traditional masquerade. His name is Papa Jab. He's also known as Toes. But in this particular play, Papa Jab actually dies. Papa Jab actually finds himself, and he actually does a very mortal thing. And he dies. And it's a twist on the masquerade, but it's a wonderful twist. And Rodney Walker just has this way of taking our cultural landscape and just making it happen on stage in a way that is different to everything else.
Fantastic. And you know what? I love that because we're getting closer to Christmas. And again, it's going to be nice to know and experience something that's part of our traditions here in our St. Lucian culture. Now, how is it for the kids just, working? And even, I know you said 3 months. So that must have been a lot of intense work going on.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a lot of intense work. And I mean, we also now, we have kids from secondary school and Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. And for a lot of the kids from the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, their classes end at 6 o'clock. So, I mean, we've been really struggling to get the hours that we need in, making sure that they are there. And we've had sometimes parents, we've had to chat with them and beg them a little bit because, it's not always easy for them because of all the ups and downs and stuff, and then still having to wait for kids, drop them and then wait for them and after the production and so on, after the rehearsals. But the kids, I mean, I love them. And I really wish and hope that they stay with me this time around. The ones last year who are not with me, the majority of them have gone away. They have gone away to school. And there are others who keep telling me, I'm coming back, but next year. So I guess they wanted a break. But we're just hoping that we can keep this group because it's a really wonderful group. We have kids from Sir Arthur. We have kids from Corinne Secondary, St. Joseph's Convent, St. Mary's College. We also have from Vidbutei Secondary and John Odlum Secondary. So it's a nice mix of youngsters. Our masquerade band is from Vidbutei Primary School, and our choir is Just Us, the Just Us Choir. So it's a really nice group of people gelling together for this production.
Great. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, if you can briefly tell us exactly what do you all do at Kitty Crew Theatre Company?
Kitty Crew Theatre Company really came about as it's an offshoot of kittycrew.com, the television program that we had done quite a few years ago from 2002. It was a television program for children by children. And the first time we started Kitty Crew Theatre Company, it was to actually put traditional masquerade back on the streets. And we did that with Athanasius Laborde, the late Athanasius Laborde and his group, and also with Barry George and the Silver Shadows. And that was the actual first time that Kitty Crew Theatre came about. And then there was a lull because I left Ireland. And soon, when I came back a few years ago, I decided, no, I needed to do something and put some more productions on stage, especially with youngsters. St. Lucia has such beautiful raw talent, but there are not very many opportunities. And that is why I struggle every year to try and get the kids on stage. And I'm also very passionate about our traditions and culture. So any opportunity I can get to mix them both, I will. And that's exactly what we're about.
Fantastic. Well, I love it. Now, this sounds like it's going to be amazing. So, St. Lucia, remember, later today, it kicks off. It's Papa Job, The Devil at Christmas. So, 8 p.m. And again, it's at the Cultural Center?
At the Cultural Center. Just one little word of warning. I would advise parents not to bring kids under the age of 10. Or maybe, because we did this play quite a few years ago, and we had some youngsters and they were extremely frightened. And we would rather that they did not bring very small children to this play because it is going to be one of those plays that will have you on the edge of your seats.
Great. So something to look forward to, words of caution, and of course to intrigue you even more. So trust me, it's going to be a true St. Lucian delight. Make sure you come out and check it out and follow it the rest of the week.